Well, on the subject of landlord-tenant relationships, what could easily be called a landmark case in a Baltimore Circuit Court ended with a tenant being awarded $250,000 for being charged by a property owner and management what are called junk fees. Now, the junk fees in this case included pet rent, supplemental renter's insurance when the tenant already had insurance, and false late fees. The judge called it a David versus Goliath case. A jury sided with the tenant, a retired Baltimore Postal Service worker, after owners Patapsco Owner LP and Rushmore Management. Hallie Miller, with our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, is joining us today. Thanks for coming in, Hallie. She just filed a report on this very case. So really interesting. Put in perspective for us, what does this mean for people who rent? What are the repercussions here?
I think you're maybe looking at some sort of blueprint that other litigants can take forward and use to their advantage. So we see that the jury in this particular case felt sympathy with Mr. Deaver, the plaintiff, and that's reflected in the amount of the jury award, which was $250,000, actually a little bit more than that, not including attorney's fees. So I think you're going to see more of these cases come out in court, or perhaps a tightening of the kinds of fees that are perhaps charged to tenants out of fear by the property owners and management that they don't want to have to deal with that kind of payout in the future.
Are these junk fees prevalent? Do you find them all over?
Oh, sure. And you've undoubtedly paid them if you've gone to a concert or stayed at a hotel. You know what I'm talking about. These
Indeed.
Service processing convenience fees that you look at your bill and you're like, I thought the amount that I was paying was actually this much, and it ends up being higher than you thought. It makes it really hard to compare prices in this economy.
Yeah, you don't think of it, though, if you have a lease and you're paying monthly to a management, you don't think that those would be included. So what did the management in this case and the owner say about this case?
So they did not have any comment on the record. They said this is still an active case, which perhaps implies that they're thinking about appealing. But in court and in legal filings, they made the case that while they made mistakes and perhaps charged Mr. Deaver things that they shouldn't have, amounting to roughly $300, they didn't do anything outright deceptive. They did not violate his consumer protection rights. Ultimately, the jury did not agree with their defense and sided very vociferously with the tenant, Mr. Deaver.
Yeah, that's a big settlement. Very quickly, do you think that this could create a precedent? Do you think people who rent, who may have some of these junk fees pop up, that this will come to their mind?
I think certainly people in the housing space, and especially advocates and attorneys who deal in tenant rights, are hoping that this could perhaps set that kind of precedent.
All right. Really interesting article as always. Thank you, Hallie Miller, for coming in to read Hallie's story, and it's a good one, and other independent reporting from our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Head to thebanner.com.